The theme of our forum today is leadership. Today we'll be hearing from speakers not only at a campus level but also at a federal level. And our speakers today include Senator Menendez from New Jersey, Executive Vice Provost Gene Vincenti, Carrie Dickerson from the SGA, Doug O'Malley from Environment New Jersey, and I shall be speaking on behalf of NJPIRG student chapters. We shall also be having a 10-minute question and answer session after the speakers, so please hold your questions until then. Now we shall be hearing from our first speaker, Senator Menendez.
Well, thank you, Ishan, very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here at Rutgers, where I had the privilege of going to law school. And so it is great to be back on the overall campus and to be here to speak at this important venue. Let me thank New Jersey PIRG for their activity. They've been with me twice today. Today we're here on environmental challenges. Earlier we were together on consumer issues, trying to protect citizens on credit card abuses, and so we're happy to see them engage once again with Environment New Jersey that we've worked with on global flooding issues, and on the campus, and with all of you on the Campus Climate Challenge for the work in raising awareness and being strong advocates for environmental protection. And it's also particularly, in my mind, a great opportunity to be speaking to a group of our youngest citizens about climate change, not only because this problem will likely impact your lives more than even my generation, but because you, the young, have the courage and the imagination to fully see the opportunities and not get simply discouraged by the obstacles we face. There is no doubt in my mind, as a member of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, that urgent and bold action is necessary to address global warming. The more scientists study the effects of climate change, the more grim the news appears to be. It now appears that much of Asia, Central Africa, and parts of South America will be facing severe drinking water shortages and droughts as the glaciers these regions depend upon melt away. Every spring, people depend on glacial melt to fill waterways, provide water for crops, and fresh, clean water for drinking. But with these glaciers receding at an alarming rate, millions who have built ways of life around predictable and dependable forces of nature will see hundreds of years' worth of cultural tradition and ways of life go by the wayside. It is true, as some have pointed out, that large migrations of people moving from previously fertile lands could create severe security problems. But I think the issue is even more alarming than that aspect, although that aspect is clearly a significant one. As the country who has done the most to add global warming pollution to our atmosphere, it seems to me that we have a moral imperative to clean up our act and save people from these hardships. Of course, the hardships will not just be felt abroad. We will also find those hardships as part of our life here in New Jersey. Rather than drought, we will have the problem of too much water. We now have 4 inches more rain per year than we experienced at the beginning of this century. In part because of this trend, flooding in New Jersey has gotten worse in recent years than ever before. To take just one area of our state, as an example, in 2004, 2005, and 2006, the Delaware River Valley experienced 4 severe flood events in succession, causing the worst flooding in half a century. I toured many of these homes during the flooding periods, trying to work with FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers, and its devastating impact upon the lives of fellow New Jerseyans, their families, is pretty significant. Until you get pushed out of your home, all of your belongings are in essence washed away, and you have to start your life all over again. you don't know what that challenge is. And as bad as the inland flooding has been and promises to continue to be, what I am most fearful of is how coastal flooding will impact our state. A number of factors make coastal New Jersey particularly vulnerable to climate change. First, by the end of the century, sea levels are conservatively expected to rise up to 2 feet from current levels. Second, scientists are telling us that in addition to higher sea levels, we will also face the potential of stronger storms due to the increase of ocean surface temperatures. Third, stronger storms means stronger storm surges, which can push walls of water several feet high inland. Fourth, the geography of something that, for those of us who've called New Jersey home and think of it as a birthright, the New Jersey shore, is severely threatened by flooding. We have one of the most heavily developed coastlines in the world, with property value at tens of billions of dollars. And the very land these properties was built on is slowly subsiding. This means that sea levels will rise relative to the land in New Jersey at a greater rate than almost anywhere else in the country. What this all adds up to is that the very existence of the Jersey Shore as we know it is under threat. Cape May could lose several blocks of homes and businesses. Atlantic City might have to build seawalls just to adjust to extensive floods. These catastrophic changes are avoidable, but only if we act quickly, decisively, and comprehensively. In face of these potential devastating impacts, some still choose to deny the existence of global warming. Despite all of the evidence, a few of my colleagues in the Senate fall into this category. Other fellow senators may not deny global warming, but instead they try to argue that the effects of climate change will not be as bad as the scientists have predicted. Another camp in Congress recognizes the seriousness of the problem, but they don't want to take bold solutions that are necessary for fear of disturbing the status quo. And that's why I particularly wanted to accept your invitation today. As people get older, they tend to get attached to the way things are. The idea of great change scares people, and in some cases makes us cling to the familiar, even when the need for change is obvious. Young people don't have this problem. Imagining a carbon-free economy is not to be feared, but to be embraced as an opportunity. An opportunity to create new industries that can make fuel from the wind, the sun, from plants, or even the movement of waves. The opportunity to eliminate other air pollutants that cut short hundreds of thousands of lives every year. The opportunity to create millions of jobs here at home instead of paying billions for oil and natural gas from across the globe. Just about a month ago, I had a fight in the United States Senate using one of the individual powers that one senator has to insist on filibustering a measure and raising it to, instead of a simple majority vote of 51, 60 votes to stop a senator who is using that power and to, in essence, shut them down and move forward to a final vote. 60 votes is obviously a much bigger threshold than an institution of 100 votes. And the issue was the attempt by some senators to drill off the coast of New Jersey on the continental shelf for oil and for natural gas. Well, for us, that's a real consequence to our natural resources. It is a consequence to potentially the risk to tourism, which is the second largest industry in the state of New Jersey, a driver of New Jersey's economy, and to being a good steward of the land for future generations of New Jerseyans. And so we fought back on that using the filibuster process and succeeded at beating a couple of senators from those states who want to do more drilling for oil. But the reality is that if we do not break